messages in my head. I don't know how to cope with this. I'm keeping secrets in my hair, or any space you can find. Glad to see that I could help make your life a bit easier. But have you ever thought of how I felt? You need to think about your behavior.
I don't know how I did that, but I just got the music off here. I'm simply Butch On Sports is here. Again, thanks for tuning in, boys and girls, on a late Friday evening, early Saturday morning coming up here. Around about after 11:30, we're doing this podcast for you here. Hope you enjoy it. And again, thanks for tuning in here as well. Okay, let's get some sports news that you can't get enough of, and this you can't get enough of. In a 2-hour and 1-minute game at the Little Caesars Arena, the attendance was 20,491. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that is a sellout for the Detroit Pistons, who entertained the Boston Celtics tonight. Yes, at the arena. The results, they stink. Pistons starters average a total time of 32 minutes on the floor versus the Boston starters they average 24 minutes on the floor. Kyrie Irving had the most minutes on the floor for the Celtics at 28 minutes and some change. The Piston bench averaged 16 minutes on the floor. Boston bench averaged 24 minutes on the floor. And they did the most damage. The Boston bench scored 63 points to the Pistons 21. Our bench smells. That resulted into a 110-98 win of the Boston Celtics over the Detroit Pistons Friday night at Little Caesars Arena. Can't say much about the game itself here, but I saw a lot of lagging, a lot of, we got to go on to the next thing. I don't know what they do in practice, but it sure doesn't result in a positive frame of mind during the game. This is not the first time that I've mentioned the Detroit bench smells when they came on and to be called in to give some yeoman minutes to the starters. Now, I don't know if that's the reason why they lost, but the starters just got out juiced. But you can tell where the vitality was. You can tell where Boston's bench players had a sense of purpose when they walked in the game, on the floor in the game, and they did their number. This is ridiculous. It's missed 20 points for Detroit Pistons. Only six assists. And over 30-something minutes of play. That's ridiculous. Ridiculous. And it's not going to get any better until they change the culture of what going down. And Stan Van Gundy is getting out-coached, outwitted, out-screwed, whatever you want to call it, by the opposite team that he faces on a nightly basis, whoever they are. Now, I know when they go into Carolina, which will be the next game on Sunday, they got to have some juice. They got to have some people coming off their bench doing their job, having a sense of purpose. If you can't, and I repeat again, if you can't put the ball in the hole, by golly, be able to go out there and stop the guy. And again, and I'll repeat it, sometimes man-to-man is always the best defense to play, rather than this little phony, bony zone that some coaches insert in the lineup and the players absolutely do nothing. Nothing. Too many times I watch Piston players look at each other after Boston scored. That could be prevented by making things very difficult for them on a man-to-man type of defense. And I'm a very big advocate of that. Zone is an element of surprise. Man-to-man is just you going out there and boning yourself on up, and that's dealing with energy, that's dealing with being in shape, that's dealing with guts and grind. And the Pistons don't have that right now. Nonchalantly, they took this game non-seriously. And they're going to have to stop that little nonchalant little attitude that they have and come out there and do some doggone headhunting here, because the games are getting shorter. 24 more games to go. They're 2 games and somehow some change behind Miami, who has the last playoff spot. And if they don't hurry up and get it together, they'll be looking at everybody else in playoffs while Andre Drummond gets pissed off why he wasn't picked in the All-Star game first. And some other details that I really don't even care to mention. The excuses is fine. It's nice that Stan Van Gundy come out and try to be honest. Again, I'll never take that away from the guy. But he got to result that bad boy kind of attitude in getting his players to play for him. And they're not playing for him. They're not playing with him. They're not playing for him. And that has to change if the Pistons thinking about any playoffs anytime. Ridiculous. Let's move on. Detroit Tigers announced that they have agreed to terms with left-handed pitcher Francisco Liriano. A 1-year contract, $4 million, what the media has said. Of course, they never give the real amount of money that they're going to be receiving, probably after deduction of their agent and whatever it may be. Who knows? Liriano's 34 years old. He pitched in 38 games, including 18 starts between the Blue Jays of Toronto and the Houston Astros. By the way, this guy has a championship ring that he's bringing to the lineup of the Detroit Tigers. Maybe he can show the bling-bling when he receive it and motivate some of those young kids to get it together. This guy, by the way, had a 6-7 record with a 6.66 ERA, 85 strikeouts. He made 5 appearances also with the Astros. He went 0-1, 3.86 earned run average, 2 strikeouts, 1 earned run. Not bad. So I will tell you right now, he's a pretty doggone good pitcher, but again, his first coach, Ron Gardenheimer, he'll be pitted back with him there. He was All-Star in 2006. Minnesota, 2-time comeback player of the year. He's made a significant amount of starts. And hopefully he'll help the Detroit Tigers with their pitching staff and bring some veteran courage to the younger players to give their all as well there. We'll see how this particular move goes, because I'm quite sure at the end of the season, if the Tigers are not doing well, that'll be a piece that someone will want in a trade, or maybe letting him go on waiver or buying him out of his contract and letting him go wherever he wants to do. Still, he just now got a nice little contract from the Detroit Tigers. Well, Saturday will be a historic deal at Callahan Hall, the University of Detroit Mercy basketball team. They'll welcome Green Bay to the Motor City. Game time is set for 2 o'clock. It's going to be on ADL. 38 as well as ESPN3. The announcers for the game will be Van Earl Wright and Earl Kilden. Van Earl Wright in town. That ought to be a good one there. Game will also be on 910 AM Superstation. As you know, Cliff Russell's no longer with us. Denny Cap, my buddy, will be providing the action of the play-by-play announcement. He's a very good announcer indeed. He does the UAD women's basketball, television, radio for years. And he's going to get his opportunity to go in the circle of the big boys. We wish Denny well. Hopefully I can get to one of the games, which is not going to be too many because the next week, the Horizon Series will be starting. I'll see him next Friday, Saturday, or Sunday of next week here. A number of special events for the regular season finale on that particular day, which will also be senior day for the Titans. They'll be honoring 4 members like Deshaun Black, Jaylene Hogan, Isaiah Jones, and Ruscon Prince. As they are seniors, they'll be also getting their just due and, their little picture and their jersey and a little portrait. There'll also be the U.S. Army swearing-in ceremony for the game as a UAD letter-winning recipient. During the game, the winner of the annual chili cook-off will be announced at halftime. Yes, they'll be cooking chili there tomorrow at Callahan Hall. So probably before you walk in the door, they'll probably be giving away a whole heck of a lot of samples. The athletic director's honor roll will be honored as well. Okay, Titans already know that they'll be in the Motor City Magnets next Friday at 5:30. That's when they'll play, but their opponents still to be determined. They can play a wide range of people or teams. That's including Cleveland State, Green Bay, IUPUI, and also Youngstown State. Just to name a few that they could possibly be playing on that Friday afternoon, early evening game. Okay. Congratulations to Buchanan High School students. Cheering section has been selected this year's Michigan High School Athletic Association Battle of the Fan #7 winner as the top students cheerleading section among member schools there. This was the 7th year of this particular contest. 16-member Student Advisory Council. Buchanan previously won it in 2013. Student section from Boyne City, Buchanan, Petoskey were selected at a pool of finalists. They go on Facebook and order it up and whatever it may be. I have announced this in the Telegram News where I write in a whole heck of a lot, which is a heck of a lot of schools in this area provided. I don't know if they're reading the paper or not, but you know what? It would be something that I'm quite sure the athletic directors do get notice about and start entering in these particular contests because there's some pretty doggone good student bodies around here in the downriver Detroit area and also in Detroit that does not get any recognition for being good sports. Now, some of them teams and places are known, no, they have not been known for good sports. And I've been there to see it. So, hey, pick your poison there. And also some fun-filled events are coming up in partnership with Coca-Cola and the Kroger's. The Detroit Red Wings teamed up with these two conglomerates to have a fan day at Little Caesars Arena. That's scheduled to take place on Monday, March 19th from 5 to 9 o'clock. Several members of the Red Wing Alumni Association will be on hand signing autographs for fans in attendance for the event. Hockey fans can also bring their skates to skate on the ice at Little Caesars Arena and enjoy some multiple interactive hockey zone activities and a wide range of prizes and promotions for the fans of all ages, numerous amount of photo opportunities, etc., etc., etc. And additionally, the Red Wings artifacts, past, present, will be on display courtesy of the Hockey Hall of Fame. Trophies be set up during Fan Day, including the Hearts Trophy, the James Norris Memorial Trophy, Lady Byng, and also the Jack Adams Award. All these will be available for the choosing. Kyle of Bloomfield Hills. I forget his last name because I forgot to write his last name in my script. I'll just say Kyle, Bloomfield Hills. Congratulations to him and family members in the metropolitan Detroit area. He won a silver medal in the Olympics snowboard big air event. The first time it's been in the Olympics. A hometowner brings home a silver medal. And around about 1 o'clock, 1:30 this morning, the curling championships. Guess who's in, boys and girls? Congratulations also to the ladies hockey team. USA beating Canada. And the men's Canadians were kicked in the teeth too, as I think it'll be Russia and Sweden will be going after each other for the hockey championship and a gold medal. That'll be early this morning, or tomorrow morning, I should say, for that particular event. Canada will be skating early that morning for the bronze. I had to mention that. I had to do it. Well, our conversation for this evening, short and sweet, is indeed, I'm not going to elaborate too much, but at least 20 Division One basketball programs and more than 25 players or so, and it's going to that number's potentially is going to grow as Yahoo Sports came out with a bunch of documentations and stuff there that they have got in their little mists here, in their little palms, that are about violations of NCAA amateurism rules, things that you're not supposed to be doing. And all these players, and I'll mention some of the families and members of those particular organizations, or should I say schools, that have been cited for this, has been included in Duke, North Carolina, Texas, Kentucky, Michigan State, USC, Alabama, and a host of other schools, too, are going to be named later on. Documents link some of the sport's biggest current stars, like Michigan State Miles Bridges, Alabama's coach Colin Sexton, Duke's Wendell Carter. Those are some specific who got extra benefits for their family members or family members tying with some of these particular agents or members of AAU organizations to kind of maybe market or try to get a particular player to go to a certain university on their behalf. Mostly the coaches of those particulars and scouts of those particular organizations supposed to be doing all the co-cocking of looking for players to come to their schools. But in this particular case, it's based on meals and tens of thousands of dollars, and sometimes parents are making sweetheart deals with these particulars. They go back to the particulars, all depending on how much their player is worth it, to get that player to buy into the situation. It's outstandingly bad. Majority of these players are one and done, which is a huge, huge problem. To commit to a college, it got to be a rule that you at least do up to your junior year. I'd like to see that rule in place. This way, you ain't got to waste your time and go to a major college. They're paying money and scholarship money and you to go to class, but you don't go to. And also, your family is getting treated by, as much as some of these figures I saw today in this Yahoo report, up to $43,000 that athlete is able to borrow or get paid up front, only to have to pay it back to these particular individuals, agents, or organizations who goes and scout for these schools to get these players to go to these certain particulars. This is a nasty business. This has been going on for years, boys and girls. It goes on in high school. It goes on in college. High school, maybe you, at the most, they'll give you a bed and place of bread and breakfast. You can stay with a parent or a guardian member to live with a certain individual to go to school because of circumstances beyond the control. You're taken care of. You get a hot meal every day. You're forced to go to school, get your education or something in order to get shoestrained and get in all these other basketball leagues or specialties that you get noticed to go to college. Yes, you got to market yourself in order to go. You can't get everywhere in any place. Some college coaches or some high school coaches, I'm quite sure, are going to be named in these particulars. And that's going to probably come out later. And by the way, I did not mention the FBI is doing this investigation for about 1 year now. Funny. Mark Emmert released all this information of confirmation this morning on the particular players getting these extra benefits for their athletic prowess or else for their family members. And to see some of the family members, Barton, for instance, one of the players for Michigan State who was mentioned, Miles Bridges, his mother got $400 and a meal. They claim she borrowed the money. But parents are not supposed to borrow any money from those particulars because, again, that has they claim a certain effect on the reason your child goes from A to B if you have some influence over that particular child. Like I said, the highest amount of money I saw was $43,000. And it was very obvious that that player was only going to stay there for 1 year and then pay it back with a little interest added on to it. And also one of the promissory notes says there will be no interest added on the money to pay it back. But if you go to another agency or ad agency or agency to get a agent to represent you for NBA prowess, you owe a little bit more money. Some of as high as $20,000 added on to the money you borrow. Oh yes, it's dirt. Go around everywhere, spread it all around. And again, I'm not here to look at everybody's condition of what they should do, what they cannot do. It's obvious what they're doing. It's obvious why they're doing it. The benefit is where are the rules? Because there's some kids out there who do things the right way and just would just be tickle pink to go to college just to be able to have the opportunity to get breakfast, lunch, and dinner served to them, a place to stay where they can hang their head, to be able to study and enjoy the college experience the way many feel it could be in a positive frame of mind. And will not get that. They will go to a community college, they will have to work, and maybe later on in life, 10, 15 years later, be able to have the opportunity to go to college just as after they got laid off, fired, or the company just move out of here, leaving them flat broke or with nothing, or have to make other plans on how to make a living for their family. It's hard to say what's right and what's wrong in everybody's condition because you don't wear their shoes. But it's one thing for sure, and that's definitely for sure, there's a lot of children and kids who deserve to be in college, who would do the 4 years, who would be tickle pink or having the opportunity, and maybe someone to love and care to pay for it, and they appreciate it, rather than go through the milking of somebody going to school for 1 year, or maybe 2, and getting all the benefits, not going to school, not doing the things they ought to be doing, and to make the NBA lights and absolutely may or may not see the bounty. It's a shame, but what can you do? What can you do? I am done for this edition of Butch On Sports. It is the weekend, boys and girls. Saturday morning has arrived, and I'm saying, what can I do? Enjoy the weekend. And take care of your business, such as many of us have to do. Red Wings tomorrow. Oh boy, I'm going to say Joe Louis again, but Little Caesars Arena, Carolina will be in town. Remember, they're coming off a back-to-back. See what the Red Wings do. They're another team that's looking to go into the playoffs. That may not get in. Let's see. Hey, have a good weekend. The girls' basketball tournaments start this Monday. We're not going to be on as much as we have. We'll do a special game. Me and Scott Nason. Let's talk about some of the events of the past weekend and weeks beyond, or days beyond, I should say, including the girls' basketball and other things that's going to be happening throughout the week. Butch On Sports will be limited to maybe 2 next week because of that basketball playoff situation. Girls. And then next week, the boys and the girls will be combined in there doing their thing. Plus, with the March Madness coming into town, that's going to be something else, too. So, hey, I'm just telling you ahead of time. A couple of Butch On Sports this week, especially the game. It'll be on Tuesday, Wednesday morning. Hey, check them all out on a special webpage. I'll give you the address of Scott Nation, Scott Nation the Game. And if that's not right, I'll definitely have that ready for you on Wednesday morning. Take it easy. Have a great weekend, everybody.